Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited. I hope you are, because today we're going to have a very steamy discussion with Benjamin, by the way. You better be prepared, right? Now, most of us have developed a habit of blocking and unblocking those people we're in love with, all right? And we have normalized it, by the way. That is the way I deal with my issues. Now, today, Benjamin is going to tell you why blocking and unblocking is not a sign of love, but a sign of immaturity and toxicity. Hey, Benjamin.
You know, I'm appalled. I think we discussed this a time back.
Yeah.
But this is a tumor that keeps coming back. It's a deeply entrenched pathology. You see memes trending that if she blocks you and unblocks you, deletes your contact, saves again, that cycle loves you, you should marry her.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people who actually believe that.
Yeah.
It would have been funny if it was only a joke.
Mm.
But there are people who believe that. Because we discussed it, brought it up on the page, on the Facebook page, and people say, yeah, for me, that's how I deal with stress. Because I don't with stress, actually, I delete. Brahman, if you're dating a girl, let's be practical, and she deletes your contact. And for a day or two, you can't see her profile, you can't see her status, you can't see anything, you can't reach her. What are you going through yourself?
It's traumatizing.
So let's start here. Those who say that it's a method of processing stress, those who say that it's normal, let me tell you the following things. In that discussion itself, people said, I blocked my boyfriend, like two ladies that really moved me. Blocked him because I didn't want to hear him. I wanted to cool off fast. I was pissed. I'll come back when I cool off. So that I don't stay here and say bad words. That's what they say. They say, if I don't block you, I'll say bad
words.
But why don't you control yourself? Why do you have to do it without that? You can be calm and you're not talking, but you are reachable. We don't say we must be talking every time. Blocking is very different from not talking. There are times you are irritated over something, you're hurt over something, and you're not talking. But should emergency arise, you're still reachable.
Yeah.
Brahma, if you block your woman completely, let's say you're living far away, or you could even be in the same city, but not in the same place. And she can't reach you on phone. That lady said she blocked him the whole day and then called off and called back. He was not picking. She went looking for him. She found people planning his burial. He died an accident. The second girl said, this one, I think he fell sick, was in hospital, and he was calling. She has blocked, and he was, the last thing on his mouth was her name. And he sent his sister, go and tell so and so I'm sorry. What kind of trauma is that? This was saying, I block that, I call off. You're supposed to learn how to call off without blocking. Brahman, let me tell you some of the red flags that are on the surface and we underestimate them. Emotional instability.
Okay.
Blocking a person is extreme. It's a sign of emotional instability, emotional immaturity. A person who cannot handle discomfort, who cannot handle irritation and anger in a cool way, who does not have a healthy way of processing the emotions, they have to shut you off. When people block you on phone, they usually block you also emotionally. Are we together? It's not just on phone. It also means they can't be there for you at that time. You can't reach them. There is nothing going on between the two of you now. You are estranged. During that time when you can't talk, not only are you not talking, but you can't reach them, and they don't want to know. But it's emotional explosiveness. And the problem is, they will not only express it here. A person who has the capacity to delete your number, remove your contact, and block all channels of communication. What else do they do elsewhere in life? Can you swallow that? Process that. You think it's only in communication? What else do they do about money? What else do they do about their children? What else do they do about their job? What else do they do about the bigger projects in life? What else? It is not just with the phone, it's lack of emotional self-control. So let us say now you are in somewhere and you are in the midst of selling deals. An opportunity has come, and as family, you needed to purchase this property. It's a prime property. You can afford it. You're being given the opportunity and you're about to pay. And on the way, you disagree. On the way to go and sell the deal, you disagree. And she blocks. You have arrived here, you're supposed to sign deals, and she was the one coming with the money or something, and you're to meet her, and because she has blocked, what will you do? What will you tell people? You may think it's a small thing because you're only dating. Wait until you get to doing life and you realize it's impossible to talk with a person who is so emotionally unstable. We are not always laughing and talking with my girl. We have evolved over time. The moments of silences and not talking are fewer and fewer as we get to know each other more. But even when we're not talking, we have done very big things. And if an important event arrives when you're not in talking terms. But we never block each other. So we can always communicate. Check this and that, check that. I was calling. We can talk about other things of life, even when our own romantic conversation is not there. If she blocks you, how will you transact the logistics of life? Tell me. People are normalizing. Tell me. And the people are, no, I know I'm mature. That is just a style of conflict management. What about the other logistics of life? Brahma, save yourself and avoid marrying psychopaths. Women are more common in blocking. I'm starting with them. Because we excuse them. We expect women to be emotional somehow. So it's more excusable. When it comes to the men, I'll tell you what it is. Because it's total foolishness. You don't block a woman. If you don't want her, remove her from your life. You're the leader. How can the leader? Imagine the president blocking the country. Don't talk to me. Leaders don't block. They make decisions. Are we together? You're the leader in that setting. If you don't like something, set it right. If you want time, ask for the time. How do you block the people you are leading? So, who is the leader here? I'm starting the women because they're biggest culprits. And if you have a man who's blocking you and you're still with him, you also don't use your common sense. Who is leading you in that? Who are you following? Where is the direction of that relationship? If the boy, the bearded boy you are following can't handle issues without shutting everybody out. If he's shutting you out and he's the leader, where are we? What are you still doing there? You also don't have standards. And please tell women to stop introducing some of the stories. Saying, I got married when I was very young. Immediately from first started dating. I was too very young. You're telling me you did the wrong thing at the wrong time. And you want me to listen to all those sickening stories. The moment you take, we call it a voluntary assumption of risk. The moment you take the path of risk on your own, please deal with your madness. Some of us, we have other better stressors to deal with. Okay? Yeah. They start by telling you what they did wrong. And then they got to write paragraphs on the drama that followed. But obviously you put the wrong foundation. What are you saying? you know, I decided to build my house on the river. But now, unfortunately, when the rain came, imagine it fell down. Imagine this docket. What were you expecting? You do the wrong things at the wrong time. Many of them will be telling you how the man, he has been slapping me from the time we were. I usually don't read that. It's too sickening. The people have chosen a lifestyle that is so sick that even hearing it gives you a headache. Listening to it, you wonder, how do you exist like this? Don't you love yourself? Don't you have self-awareness of what you deserve? Don't you want peace? All right. So we are saying, Brahma, a person who shuts you out in terms of communication will shut you out when the deals of life are in front of you. Learn that. Number two, a person who shuts you out will feel angry when other people are accessing you at the time they're not talking to you. These are the side effects you can't see, but they will mutate and catch up with you. A person who shuts you out, at that time when they're not talking to you, they will learn that other people are still talking to you. And perhaps in trying to reach them, you may reach them through other people. And they end up looking childish. Okay? She has shut you out, you call her a work colleague. And work colleague appears more open. And she can actually challenge your wife and tell, even if you shut out your man, how will you deal with life? How will you deal with children? What if an emergency came up? What if another communication of another nature was needed? Please get his phone, talk to him and block him. I think you should improve on that. No, that's how I solve my question. I don't talk. I'm very angry. If I talk out, control your emotions. Marriage is not for children. You don't come to marriage when you can't control your feelings. Yeah. You should maintain open lines of communication, even when you're not in the mood of talking. We know you're not talking. You're not in the mood of talking. But if something comes up, we can still pass information and deal with life. How will she feel about the colleague who has challenged her? Many don't take it well. Yes. There's also always they take it well. I see now so you're seeing you being better than me. Do you get it?
Yeah.
What they will proceed to do is they will take your phone or they will force you to stop talking to that colleague, to those other people who seem maturer than her. All women who are calling yourself mature and you're still unblocking and blocking your man. What I'm warning the men is this. Eventually, other women around your life will demonstrate more better self-control and comparatively should appear childish and less desirable. And even you will praise other women and you unknowingly.
Yeah.
And say, you know, Benja told me him and his wife never block each other. I'm just wondering, can we also shape up a little bit? They also have their differences, but they have learned that life is more than romance. We can miss, like now you can miss big business opportunities because you could not collaborate.
Yeah.
Something has showed up, I needed, we said your partner is your thinking buddy. When you shut me out, who will I think ideas? You know, ideas don't come in a scheduled way. You can't say all your quality ideas will be coming between 10 and 11 p.m. Are we together? They come as you process life, opportunities. Who do you cross-check with? Isn't it your partner?
It is.
That's the person you're handling life with secrets together.
Yeah.
In confidence. And they go, hey, a quick one. I'm being told a friend of friend has some, they wanted us to take part in something. They're saying we are interested. Everything we'll discuss it during lunchtime. What if you can't reach her? Well, many of the things I've done with my girl required constant collaboration. If there is no flow of communication, you miss out on the flow of opportunities. Remember that. The second problem is the person who behaves immature by shutting him out will feel unfavorably compared with other women who are maturer, and eventually she'll start thinking you're thinking other people are better, yet her behavior is what is disqualifying her from this degree of maturity. The third problem of marrying a person who is shutting you out is that generally they have poor problem-solving skills. They use escapism. Instead of tackling the problem and sitting with it and listening to the emotion and saying, am I overreacting? What was that? Have I been disrespected? Should I stay in this degree of disrespect? What am I doing here? Instead of dealing with the problem, they run away from it. Brahma, by the time you need to block a girl, maybe she should not be in your life. Are we together?
Yeah.
If she's disrespecting you, behaving in a way that is inconsistent, remove her from your life. I only want you to stay with a woman who is your friend. You should only stay with a woman who is your companion, who you have agreed soulmate, who you have agreed to face life when it is for better, for worse. You don't run away. You don't shut me off. You don't close doors. You don't forget me. You don't turn your back on me. Even when we are not in good talking terms, let us still remain together. Even when we are not in good talking terms, we know we are doing life together. What if you fall? I want to be able to pick you up. I can't look away. If you marry a runner, a person who escapes when they're faced with an ugly situation, she'll transfer the same escapism to other areas of life. For example, you'll have a problem that needs to be faced, but because she's not emotionally equipped, conflicts are very disturbing. When you have to process things like being rejected, like not getting your way, like not getting what you want, you are likely to feel so disturbed, you're likely to feel so down, you're likely to fear the confrontation. But if you are used to bringing up uncomfortable conversations, like when you did this and this and you don't feel good, you are used to telling your partner what they did to hurt you, what they did that hurt you. You are used to that. When you're used to that, even out there at job, even out there among your siblings, out there with your in-laws, out there with your family, you use the same approach. But if you realize that when you hurt her, she usually runs away. And you know, it's very anxiety-inducing to try to call a person and you can't reach them without any notice. It's anxious. It brings a lot of anxiety. You wonder now how, up to when, and they have not told you up to when or which way to talk in the meantime, or what do you tell your children when you can't reach your mother? And it's your children, their mother. You can't reach. What do you tell her? What are you modeling to your children? That there are times you are not even talking. You can't even handle issues. Then they call, they can reach her, but you can't reach her. You know your mother has blocked me. Would you tell your children that? You tell your children that. So we are saying this person has a way of running, and because they don't have the emotional capacity to handle issues, that same escapism will transfer to other issues with your children, with our own family, at work, among our friends. It will transfer to elsewhere. So if anybody is trying to use blocking, they should see to the emotions and develop the capacity to handle issues. Lastly, the person you need to shut out so that they stop talking to you. You don't want to hear them because you're angry. Are they the problem, or is your temper the problem? Brahma, I want you to start looking around and see families. There's one woman who gets angry and she shuts down on everyone in the whole family. They told me our mother disappears and nobody's talking. You see her moving around, but don't talk to her. She shuts down on people for a week, everyone. And she's there running family businesses. They have school fees to be paid. They have things to be done. There are children to be attended to. But she has an anger. Where did that start? By shutting out. She did not see the anger as the problem. So many people are not blocking you because of what you did. Because they have a bad temper. They are overreacting. And instead of addressing their anger as the problem, they start thinking when they block you, they feel at peace. When they block you, they, and lastly, so it could be their temper. Sometimes even when they come back, ask them now, why have you unblocked? Oh, now you have cooled off. So what was that? What if you are overreacting to issues of life? You can't keep running. Is it anger? Is it temper? Do you need to deal with that? Can you control without exploding? The explosive, anything extreme is very dangerous in this life.
Yeah.
You need moderation. The man of God should have moderation. And now that we are supposed to have the mindset of Christ, can you imagine Christ blocking people, shutting people? Remember, you are shaping yourself according to the word of God. How he created you. Supposed to have balance. Always remember, even tempered. Even tempered is the definition of maturity. Does not mean you don't get happy, you get excited, or you don't have low days. No, it means your behavior is not dictated by the fluctuations of your feelings. Did we say some days we wake up and you don't feel anything, just feel meh, just like. There are days you are just not excited. Could be an accumulation of fatigue or experiences. But do you feel sharp for work, Brahma?
No.
Look at that. What if you are to shut out your boss? Block everyone at work. Because you're feeling down. So even tempered means you don't let your emotions control you. Many times you wake up and you don't have the excitement, but you still go to work. But when I'm determined to show up at my work, to show up for my duties, to show up where I'm required until my last day on earth. That's my prayer. Show up for my wife, show up for my family, show up for my work, show up for my class, like the online lecturing class. I like to see myself like a lecturer, and this is my class. To show up to discuss issues. So I want to show up there every day. My feelings will be fluctuating, but I want to be consistent with my duties. You need consistency in your duties as a husband, as a wife. Even when we are not happy with each other currently, as long as we are not breaking up, as long as I'm still committed to this marriage, as long as I'm still with you, I will be showing up for my duties. And I will do the duties I'm supposed to do. That is maturity now. Maturity is even-tempered, consistent, and disciplined. Can we stop joking with somebody saying, no, it's when you delete, block, remove, look for the contact, save again. That is instability, immaturity. You can't handle life that way. You need even-tempered. You tell them, I don't feel like talking now, I'll talk to you. But the phone is still here. I'm out here at work. Should something come up, we are still husband and wife. When you shut me out, who is my wife? That time you have shut me out, who is my wife? When I needed a piece of information when I'm in the bank, it has nothing to do with romance. It's some information. Yeah. I was feeling next of kin and I needed your ID number, for example. Just some forms I'm filling here. What am I supposed to write now that you have shut me out? Life does not entertain vacuums. Life does not entertain vacuums. There are no gaps allowed in life. Remember also, our hearts, when we get attached to people, our hearts get genuinely attached. When the person starts to fluctuate, it's like they want you, it's like they're breathing. You know, when you shut me out, that's not love. Attention is the currency of love. Attention is the currency of love. Care is the currency of love. Yeah. Care, attention, to know you are there for me. It's not always giggling and laughing and smiling and steaming. Those are other aspects. But the fundamental is when I know you have my back. How can you have my back when you turn your back on me? For hours or for days. There's nothing love-like about shutting out the person you claim to care about. I need to be able to reach you. We may have done something yesterday and that I hurt you, you hurt me, you're taking your time to process your pain. It's normal to take your time to process your pain. But you should be able still to play husband and wife while you're processing your things. What if I realize today your car insurance has expired? And I have renewed and I wanted you to ask you to pick. But you have shut me out and you're on the road. You get arrested. So, who is winning now? Who's winning? I needed to tell you, hey, your car insurance has expired. The service is due. Or you needed to tell me something that I forgot in the house. An information that is important. Bramwell, let's define again. You're not doing life for sleeping in the same bed, for going back in the same house. Let us define this again. You're not doing life together by giving birth to children together. Doing life together is not having the same family name. Doing life is not where you keep your shoes. Doing life is not the compound. Doing life is not these other things. Thinking together. It is thinking together. It is solving issues together. It is collaborating in everything. Collaboration requires constant communication. It requires the peace of mind to know when I text, he will see it. She will see it. It's having to know that I can send so and so, go and pick something and we can coordinate. I want you to marry a person you can coordinate with, communicate with, collaborate with, teamwork with all your lives. Every day for as long as you are healthy. That's the healthy wife you want. We have a lot of sick marriages and sick women who are broadcasting their pathological ways of handling life. And they're trying to defend it to look normal because they don't want to grow up. Do you want your daughters to be mentored by mothers who can't handle the emotions? How will the daughter, they will also carry the same habit?
Yeah.
Okay. The last point, so to bring up questions. Remember we said, always remember that when you marry, you're selecting a parent for your children. The parent is a role model. A parent is a person who guides. And a parent is a person who influences. A parent is a person who carries destiny. A parent is a person who is very significant to the child's life. And you want that parent to be a person you can point at and say, I'm proud. I'm proud of this person. They're influencing my children. They're guiding my children. So what we are saying is, make sure you're marrying a person who, if they were your mother, when you put yourself in the position of your children, if they were your mother or your father, they're a good role model. So don't just look at sexuality. Look at what kind of a role model they could be. What kind of influencer they could be. Once you get a child with a person, you are permanently entwined. You are enjoined through that child. You can no longer say it's my child only. You get it. So think about the emotional self-control of a person. And Brahma, mature people are few, but they exist. Don't settle for the immature ones.
Yeah.
Stable, sound, sane women are rare, but they are there. Seek until you find them. A person who is level-headed. Not everybody is born mature. We are still growing, but you see a person who is open to learning and changing and adjusting and moving to the next level. Yes.
I like that, Benjamin. You see, just listening to you, I can now see how we've normalized this problem. Now, some will argue, Benjamin, as for me, I know I'm not immature. I know I'm emotionally okay. But now, in this case, when you're dealing with a toxic person, so every time there is a conflict, it is them that are poisoning you, texting large bad messages, calling and insulting you just because of a certain problem or challenge you're facing together. How do you deal with that?
Why are they still in your life? Why are they still in your life? What are you doing in such a toxic person calling them your partner? Let us repeat. The purpose of life is not to stay married by all means. To be happily married or happily single. If a person begins to torment your mind with 72 messages, 50 missed calls, because of something, they are unstable themselves, they're disturbed themselves, ask them to seek help and tell them this is not how people communicate, my friend. I can't live like this. How many messages are this? How long? I'm at work. How many? It's an emotional overreaction. Why are you typing incessantly? Can you compose yourself and communicate clearly what you mean? Once you're done with it, let me reply. If you pester me, doesn't mean that you are pushing me to reply. If I don't want to reply, I won't reply. You can't force me. Many of them are very emotionally sick. Once you see that, don't marry that kind of person. Yes.
It is a red flag.
Yes.
And some people, some of these red flags, they have gone through them, they have gone through, or they have seen several of them, that it is normal to them.
And that's very true. When you have dated or you have been in an environment of pathology, the pathology becomes acceptable and normal. You can't even know that it's not okay.
Yeah.
You know, if you grew up where you are hearing people shouting at each other, you think that's normal. And let's repeat this, Brahma. Be aware of the background you grew up in. As you study for journalism for 4 years, study yourself for 4 years.
Yeah.
As you analyze other things in the university, analyze your journey in life.
True.
And adjust the sick normals. And please. The marriage of your parents, the lifestyle, we handled the other day, the children of strong but independent and single mothers.
Mothers, yeah.
Who did very well in raising them, but she never modeled marriage. And she never discussed it. The children grow there with a side of life they've never seen, with a tunnel view. They feel emotionally, they feel like they want somebody, but they're not sure that wanting somebody is a weakness. My mother was okay alone. How come I want? The same way, you can have grown in a family where love was not there. It was just life and survival. And these people handling each other like military, using sarcasm, using criticism, using sharp language. If that's what you grew up with, as you study for other things, study your journey in life. Analyze what marriage is supposed to be. Analyze what you want. And learn the wrong things. Learn the right things. So you cannot identify pathology when pathology is your normal where you grew up in. You need to reach a level where you can actually identify and say, oh, so people don't shout at each other, so people don't go silent, so people don't leave that apart, so so the ideal, you're supposed to know the ideal to aim at it.
Yeah.
What was real was sick, but the ideal is healthy. So get to know, so people can actually teamwork. I saw that it was my mother or my father paying a loan. The other parent was not contributing, the other one was disappearing. When they have money, they did this. When they have, so many of them saw their mothers or their fathers condoning bad things for so long. They don't know how to stand up and say no. And they saw somebody disappearing and reappearing in their mother's or their father's life, and they think that's okay. Let's reaffirm and say, you need to reach a point where you are aware that what I grew up with is not right. This is what is right. But you see, you need to know what is right, that you can contrast it and see what was wrong with where you grew up with. How do you know what is right? By consciously researching. Consciously. Consciously teaching yourself the standard of marriage you're exposed to. Although your emotions are hurrying you up, appetite does not mean the food is already ready. Sometimes you're hungry, but you know it's not yet food time. I've not yet there. Don't be pushed by hunger and impatience that you refuse to study the kind of food, the kind of environment you're signing up for. Yes.
What if those people don't just block physically, but they block you emotionally? They actually, they may not block you. You call, the phone will go through. But emotionally, they're totally detached.
Yes, and primarily that is very, painful. Can be very painful when a person distances, give you cold treatment. If it is justified, you also know you did something wrong to them. If it is justified and if it is that does not overstretch, they don't take it too far, ask them once they're done with it, what you did, discuss it. But if you realize that's their normal, do you want to live that kind of life? The bottom line, Bramwell, is that you choose a mate and you choose a lifestyle.
Yeah.
How they live, that's the lifestyle they'll bring to your life. If they are teachable, if they are willing to learn, you are going to improve on many of those things. But once you realize they're detached and stubborn, you just want to establish your life permanently in them. So blocking emotionally is as painful. Although there you can communicate other things, they don't close the phone, they don't shut you out, they don't turn it off, but still, you can tell there is no flow. If it is genuine, and everybody has been hurt, they can withdraw for a while. Everybody has been hurt. But if it is genuine, you discuss it, you apologize. If it is not, if it is overdone, exaggerated, too much punishment, ask yourself whether you want to live like that. Yes.
And also, for marriage to work, it needs people who are ready to be lesser, especially when temperatures are high and when things are not working. To be lesser means you are ready to accept and take responsibility. You see, we have people who adopt this mechanism of evading the reality in the name of taking time to fix their tempers.
And you know, Brahma, your temper does not make the life stop. When you get angry, life is still moving on.
Yes.
And the day you hear a person bragging that they are short-tempered, don't marry them. That's a weakness. You're not supposed to be bragging with it as if it's a personality trait.
Yeah.
As if that's how I am. Your temper is yours to manage, and your temper does not help anybody. It caused Moses to miss the promised land.
Yeah.
And he was a very humble man. And I want you to understand that you do not put me not to trigger you. It's you who triggered me. That people also use their anger to justify their behavior. I went silent because you triggered me. That's a reverse manipulative way. Always tell people, if you are being provoked or made angry, sit down and process your anger. Calm down when you are healthy. Find ways to let out your anger in ways that are not hurting other people. If a person gets defensive when they don't understand that simple concept, how far can you go with such a person? Yes.
And there are people who actually block to manipulate you.
Yes.
You see, they have done the wrong, you see, so they block you so that you can start apologizing for something you never did.
And that is it's reverse. They avoid the responsibility by starving you with attention until you want to return to normalcy by yourself bowing down. Don't establish that precedent. And if you had already established it unknowingly, stop it. Next time they wrong you, they say something bad, they hurt you, and then they themselves go silent. Don't break the silence. Don't break the silence. Let them take it as far as they want them to, and you make up your mind whether you want to live with that kind of a person. Brahma, let me remind you, it is when people know you rather walk away than be mistreated that they will respect you. Let us repeat. Don't let a person think you are here and you stay through anything. If you let people know that you stay through anything, they will put you through everything. Never pass that vibe. Never give that vibe. Tell them, always let people know you'd rather walk away than endure mistreatment. You respect yourself too much to be treated contemptuously. Yes.
Right, guys, there you have it. If respect is not on the table, don't close the deal. Thank you for watching the Benjamin Zulu Show. Till next time.